It's the Momofuku pickled ramps.
Okay.
Because ramps don't just grow in West Virginia, they grow in a number of places around the world, but they're very finicky about where they grow, and I think you remember them from Italy.
Yeah.
But there's actually a Momofuku Japanese recipe for pickled ramps, and that's the
And
one
that's
that
it.
I used. Yeah.
And we have another photo of your ramp pesto. That is your specialty, Dan?
Yeah,
Is that your recipe?
That's my recipe, yeah.
Okay, and you very kindly brought some of that with you today. Let me taste that real quick. You know, that has a kind of wild forest aspect to it.
Yeah. And then with that, we're adding olive oil, walnuts, and cheese.
And Parmesan.
And Parmesan. I
The
can taste
Elkhorn Inn,
Parmesan.
this is kind of cool. It's a foodie thing. We're on the Bon Appetit Appalachia foodie map,
Okay.
which is this 6-state map that goes like from Ohio all the way down to West Virginia of what they call farm to table, restaurants and artisan distillers and so on. And we're the only restaurant in what I call southern West Virginia, which is like south of Hinton. That's on that map, which was a huge feather, not just in our cap, but in the cap of McDowell County. And that's because we do things like this. We make our own pestos, we grow Vietnam herbs so that he can do Vietnamese dishes authentically, and we try to do some interesting things. We pick wild blackberries on our four-wheeler in the summer and make blackberries. So he makes blackberry sorbet and sauces and things.
You know, I would think that there are chefs in New York who would kill to have the opportunity that you guys have, to be able to go out your door, your back door, and be able to find all these things growing wild.
It's true.
Because they have to find someone who can do it for them, or they have to buy them at a market. And so I would think that the price would be astronomical compared to what you're able to
Ramps are like a controlled substance.
But do you still
It's like
have
ginseng now.
Sure, which also grows in West Virginia. But do you have friends in New York who still think that maybe it's a backwater and not, the kind of place where they would necessarily find fine cuisine?
Well,
Or are you trying to change that
well,
perception?
we offer something that's a little bit different. McDowell County, has places to eat. It's got, the fast food places in Welch and the Sterling Drive-In.
Right.
But, so we offer something a little different. We do dining by reservation.
Okay.
And
So you don't have to necessarily be a guest.
No, you just need a reservation because Dan cooks and shops for every guest individually. It's more like what you would find in Europe because you can't just run around the corner and pick up something. And we don't have like pallets of canned green beans and stuff. So he has to and does shop for every guest and cooks everything from scratch. And that's the kind of dinners that we offer. It's a little different.
Okay. We're going to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about train spotting in Landgraf. So stay tuned. Welcome back to In Focus, and once again, my guests are Dan and Elisa Clark, who operate the Elkhorn Inn and Theater. We haven't really talked about the theater at all. What's that all about?
Well, it's there. We haven't been able to do much with it right now.
Okay. Well, it's all you can do to manage running the inn and cooking all the meals.
It's the only copy of Shakespeare's Globe Theater in the state.
Okay.
And we are hoping, as you know, we recently won the SCORE Business Championship for West Virginia. We're a business champion for West Virginia. And we're hoping that one of the things the SCORE mentor they pair us up with might be able to help us is getting the theater operational.
One of the things that is quite obvious when you visit the inn is that it's right by the railroad tracks. Now, did it give you pause when you first purchased the building that maybe it isn't a good idea to open an inn next to railroad tracks?
The first night we were in the building, the train came by, and Elisa jumped out of her skin and grabbed a hold of me and said, "What have we done?"
I was weeping. I was shaking him by his shirt, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, "We've lost our minds. We've lost our minds."
Now, we have a photograph I think we can show of, there it is, of the inn, and you can see the train on the right-hand side. Yeah. One of many that goes by, I would think, every day, right?
30 to 40 a day.
30 to 40 a day and night. Well, we were written up by Railfan and Railroad Magazine as the best legal train watching location in America.
And we have another photo.
This is the backbone of our business.
Right, and there's the Norfolk Southern going by.
And they'll shave and a haircut. Sometimes the engineers will toot it on the horn. Beep, 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 beep.
So they know. And then we have a
they
third
know.
photo here of
I
train
Facebook
spotters.
Yes.
And I Facebook and tweet with Norfolk Southern. You know you're a rail fan when Norfolk Southern wishes you happy birthday on Facebook.
Remember that the train people that are coming from all over. We've actually had people come from Australia.
Rail fans, and
come.
England, and Wales, and Austria.
Seriously?
Yeah, we get guests from all over the world, and
To come watch
they're
these
rail
trains.
fans to photograph and watch the trains.
And you have a link on your website,
Yes.
on your Facebook page about you can see the trains going
Yeah.
by?
Oh, we're on, okay, we have a rail cam.
Rail
We
cam,
have a
that's what I want,
video camera on our balcony that broadcasts 24/7 on railstream.biz. So if you sign up with railstream.biz, he's got cameras around the country.
Okay.
And one of them's, you look up the Landgraf West Virginia camera, and then you can do what we do, watch trains day and night.
But you get used to it, right? And by
I don't
now
even hear
doesn't-
it
You don't
anymore.
hear it anymore.
No.
But what about when guests come? Do you warn them ahead of time that
Well-
there are trains that go by?
Well, first of
The
all, if
ones
they
who
see
aren't
the
coming to
website.
take pictures?
If they see the website, they know.
Okay.
And if they ask for a totally silent room, I tell them we have quieter rooms that are creekside. I mean, we have insulation in the building, it
Sure.
doesn't deafen you. And inside the building, you don't really hear it. If you're on the front porch and the
Sure.
train goes by, it's pretty impressive. But inside the building, not as much, unless you want a rail view guest room. And a lot of our guests request that because that's what they want. They're rail fans. But we do have quieter creekside rooms. But the trains, that's the music of West Virginia, Southern West
Yes, it
Virginia.
is.
That's its ambiance.
It's its history.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also its present.
You know, I have another picture that I want to show you. It needs a little explanation. What is that?
That's Dan's birthday cake, made by we have an Ace of Cakes here in Bluefield.
We do.
Yes, we do. And she created that. That's like Barbie's Dream Inn. She created that cake for Dan's big birthday last summer. I mean, and to scale with the train. We have
That's
a model
an HO train, right?
Yeah, that's the train, the Pocahontas, which is a model of the
100-pound
one that
cake.
that goes past the inn. And she actually did the cake to scale so that we could set it up with Dan's helicopter from Vietnam and 2 4-wheelers and the train. It's the most amazing cake I think I've ever seen.
Now, you know, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you guys as we wrap up this last segment is that, as you're well aware, the national media seems fixated on the problems in McDowell County. You know, when Donald Trump was elected president, a lot of the networks wanted to come down to coal country and talk to the unemployed miners about, you know, how they would reacting to the election of Donald Trump as president. But there's so much more to McDowell County than just that. And one of the, you know, reasons that I wanted to bring you guys on today is to talk about some of the positive things that are going on. You know, what do you like about living in McDowell County?
One of the things you have to remember is that there's a lot of opportunities in McDowell County, but a lot of times people don't see them as opportunities. We've had 2 new businesses started in the last year. One just recently, a 4-wheeler place, and he's going to do real well. I think you're going to see more people investing time and money in McDowell County as the time goes on, because there is opportunities, and that's one of the things I do like about it.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that you guys have planted the seed for
partially, yeah.
We hope
for
so.
business success in McDowell County?
We've been there now 14 years, so we've kind of proved that, yeah, you can do it, and we're not crazy, and people really will come from all over the world to stay and play in McDowell County. I think we proved that point.
Well, in those 14 years, the ATV industry has really exploded.
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny is, when we first came, everybody said, oh, it's 4-wheelers, it's 4-wheelers, it's 4-wheelers. The backbone of our business is rail fans and secondary trout fishing. And then the ATV trails, because McDowell County has hundreds of miles of free ATV trail. And we ride right from the inn, our guests ride right from the inn. Unlike most places, you don't have to trailer your ATV to a loop and ride around. You can just ride, which is amazing.
Well, look, we could sit here and talk for hours because I'm just fascinated by you two guys, both for what you've accomplished and and what you are as people. But we have to wrap things up. I want to thank you for joining us on In Focus this morning, and we hope you'll join us again next Sunday morning.
All right.
Thank you.